All right, let's talk about gold. Today, we're going to dig into what your players are really saving all that gold for, and more importantly, how you can use that knowledge to make your campaign way more engaging, emotional, and memorable.
You know, have you ever noticed that weird thing at your table? Your players will risk their lives fighting dragons. They'll agonize over these huge moral choices. But when it comes to gold, man, they hoard it like it's the last treasure on Earth.
And you're sitting there, behind the screen, just thinking, what in the world are you even saving this for? Because, let's be honest, most of the time, they just don't spend it.
Well, here's the secret, the big twist. It's not actually about the gold.
I mean, look, on paper, gold is just a resource, right? It buys you armor, potions, spell components, the usual stuff. But at the table, in the minds of your players, gold represents something way, way deeper.
Yeah, it's so much more than just buying power. Think about it. It's security in a world that's trying to kill them every 5 minutes. It's a tangible sign of progress, like, hey, we're actually getting somewhere. It's possibility, all the cool stuff you could do. And maybe most importantly, it's about control, when everything else is up to the dice.
Gold is like the one thing your players feel they truly own in the game world. I mean, they can lose a fight, right? They can totally bomb a crucial role. They definitely can't control the story. But that pile of gold, that's theirs.
So you see, when players hoard gold, it's not because they're being greedy. Nope, it's because they're waiting. They're waiting for something that feels worth it. And right there, that's our opening as DMs. That's the opportunity.
Okay, so if they're waiting for something meaningful, what does that even look like at the table? Well, it pretty much boils down to 4 key motivations. 4 things that are hiding behind that big old pile of gold.
First up, and this one is huge, players are saving for a moment that feels big, you know? They don't want to just nickel and dime their hard-earned cash on tiny incremental upgrades. No way. They want to spend it on something that feels like a real milestone, something they're going to be talking about for the rest of the campaign.
It's the difference between buying a +1 armor versus buying the ship that let us finally cross the cursed sea. See the difference? Gold gets exciting when it fundamentally changes what the party can do.
All right, number 2, identity. Your players love spending gold on things that scream who their character is. It's not just about getting more power, it's about expressing their personality.
You know, classic examples. The wizard who's saving up to build their own personal library. Or the rogue buying that secret safe house in the city. The paladin funding a new temple to their god. When gold reinforces a character's identity, it stops being just money and it becomes part of their story. It's awesome.
Okay, third on our list, agency. To put it simply, gold is freedom. It lets your players solve problems their way, not just the one path you might have laid out for them. Just think about it for a sec. With enough gold, you can bribe the guard to just look the other way. You could hire a whole band of mercenaries to storm the castle for you, or maybe buy that one crucial piece of information from some shady contact. All of a sudden, gold isn't just for getting a better sword, it's a tool for creating totally new paths and brand new possibilities.
And finally, our fourth motivation is safety. Now this one's a little more subtle, but it is incredibly powerful. A lot of the time, players hoard gold simply because it's their safety net. They have no idea what kind of disasters you're going to throw at them next, right? So they prepare for the worst. This isn't about min-maxing their stats, it's about emotional security. And once you get that, a whole lot of player behavior just clicks into place.
Okay, so now we get the why. We understand what's going on in their heads. But now for the really crucial part. How do we, as DMs, actually use this knowledge to make spending gold exciting? The absolute key here is to shift our own thinking. So instead of asking yourself, how do I get them to spend their gold? Try asking this instead. How do I make spending gold feel exciting? So here are 3 powerful tools to do exactly that. First, create gold sinks that tell stories. I mean, don't just throw a list of magic items in a shop at them. Offer them opportunities, like a chance to join a super prestigious guild, or maybe the deed to a rundown old stronghold they can fix up and make their own. A magical airship to explore those mysterious floating islands? If it creates new adventures, players will line up to spend their gold. Second, tie spending to their actual goals. You have to really listen to what your players are talking about. What do they really care about? Is it building up their reputation, gaining some political clout? Whatever their long-term goals are, build ways for them to use that gold to get a little closer to them. And finally, number 3, make their big purchases actually change the world. The more visible and tangible the impact is, the more satisfying that purchase is going to feel. So if they buy a tavern, Okay, great. Now let that tavern become a hub for their network of spies. If they fund a local faction, have that faction show up to help them in a big fight later on. When gold actually reshapes the world in the story, that's when it becomes truly, truly meaningful.
And all of this, all of it, leads to the single biggest mindset shift I want you to take away from this whole thing.
It's this. Gold is not an economy system, it's a motivation system.
Look, at the end of the day, your players don't really care about wealth for wealth's sake. What they care about is what that wealth represents. It represents progress, it represents freedom, identity, and making an impact on the world. As soon as you start designing your treasure with that in mind, gold stops being a boring bit of bookkeeping, and it starts being real storytelling.
So the next time you see your players just sitting on this huge pile of gold, not spending a single coin, don't think to yourself, man, they're just a bunch of hoarders. Instead, think, they're waiting for something meaningful. And when you finally give them that, that's the moment gold stops being a number on a sheet and finally becomes fun. So I gotta ask you, what's the most unexpected, wild thing your players have ever saved up for?